The Kinabatangan, one of the wildest river systems on the planet. Flowing through magical landscapes from steamy jungle highlands, through otherworldly floodplains, to its ultimate destination, the vibrant Sulu Sea. Along its course, the astonishing is commonplace. This is home to the exquisite, the bizarre, and the rare. A land in which ancient cultures coexist with prehistoric predators. Where new species are discovered almost daily. This is a wild frontier that is changing fast. The fate of this mighty waterway hangs in the balance, and those who champion its cause are striving to preserve all that is unique about the Amazon of the East. Flowing through Sabah, the easternmost state of Malaysian Borneo, the Kinabatangan River has been dubbed a mini Amazon. It's a title that fits the river very well. Only the Amazon itself can rival the Kinabatangan for the abundance of life that it supports. As the river flows out of the highlands, the towering dipterocarp trees give way to lower, fruit-bearing canopies, shading the Kinabatangan as it snakes its way through lowland floodplains that hide orangutans and hornbills. As it passes caves that could hold secrets of value to medical science. As it flows through the domain of creatures both rare and vulnerable. These life-giving floodplains are known locally as Sabah's gift to the earth. From the high country of its source, the Kinabatangan begins its long journey towards the Sulu Sea. It will pass through many landscapes, first entering ancient lowland floodplains. This is a vast area, a sprawling landscape in which the river has carved out its course over many millennia. As it travels downstream, the Kinabatangan continually shapes and reshapes its banks. In the wet season, oxbow lakes are formed as the river breaks the banks in search of a different, shorter course. Enriched by minerals and nutrients deposited in the seasonal floods, this natural aquifer is thought to contain perhaps 1,000 times as many species as the river itself. Only the vast Amazon River basin of South America rivals the capacity of these floodplains to support a staggering diversity of life. One spectacular example of species to be found here is the majestic Sundra clouded leopard. Due to loss of habitat, its naturally shy disposition, and excellent camouflage, these cats are rarely seen. A fact not lost on wildlife photographer Cede Prudente, who has encountered this elusive predator in the wild on only 3 occasions over his 20-year career. Now on a quest to highlight the challenges facing the Kinabatangan River and its wild inhabitants, Cede plans to publish a new book documenting the unique, rare and extraordinary wildlife to be found along this life-giving waterway. To maximize his chances of capturing a shot of the clouded leopard, Cede has enlisted the help of Wild Crew research assistant Itoy, part of a team that has been tracking these shy creatures for some time.
Taking photos of a clouded leopard is quite challenging because they move at night, they sleep at daytime, they're very elusive, hard to see. It's one of the most challenging subjects for a wildlife photographer. The research team of the clouded leopard put a collar on an individual to track their movements on the Kinabatangan River. So it's an important aspect of understanding the movement of the clouded leopard.
To enable the research team to place a tracking collar on a clouded leopard, they must first capture one. Itoi's daily routine involves checking the traps for live specimens. By accompanying Itoi, Cede hopes to learn a little more about the behaviour of these elusive felines.
We have to move slowly, otherwise the animals will be nervous.
There is something large in the trap.
We got orangutan in the cage.
Wow. Yeah, I can see the red fur.
I think it's a male one, orangutan.
I'm so glad to see a big male orangutan. He is a dominant male. As far as I know, once they grow their flange, their cheek pad, they are dominant in the area. You know, so only dominant male has a cheek pad.
Exciting as it is, trapping a wild flanged male orangutan in the cage presents an issue. One ape of this size has the strength of up to 8 men.
Look at that. Look at those fingers. He's really trying to open the cage.
But releasing this huge primate is incredibly dangerous. The crew must do this without harming the orangutan or getting badly hurt themselves. Itoi takes charge.
I think the best way is to big and then hide in the tree. I'm gonna open the door.
There is no way of knowing what the great ape will do when the cage is opened. If it charges Cede or Itoi, it could be fatal.
It's quite a daring job to open this gate. Not sure what's going to happen, whether he goes that way or this way. So we're right here on the cliff, which is quite a risky situation. Because sometimes you got to take a risk to get a good shot.
Itoi tries to maneuver a large tree branch through the top of the cage.
Itoi is trying to avoid eye contact with the big male orangutan. So he's putting his face backwards against the orangutan.
Direct eye contact would be a challenge to the big male's dominance. Although Itoi is averting his eyes, every second in close proximity adds to the danger.
There you go. He's up on the tree. Right up on the tree.
Oh my God.
Why? What happened? You look a bit nervous.
Yeah, because we don't know how strong this orangutan, because it's big male. That's why I'm nervous. Well, yeah.
I can see that. You were like shivering. Itoi,
Yeah.
that was great to see an orangutan.
Yeah.
But I would like to see a clouded leopard.
Well, let's see the camera trap.
Let's go.
In addition to information provided by radio collars that track the leopard's movements, these motion sensor cameras offer the Wild Crew research team an invaluable insight into the big cat's natural behaviours. Cede is curious to see what has been captured by the remote lens.
How many photographs of clouded leopard have you taken with this?
More than 20 photos.
Wow, that's a lot of photographs.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to see what's on that camera. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
In order to view the images, Cede follows Itoi to the research team's nearby base camp. On checking the camera card, Itoi and Cede discover that many kinds of game have triggered the motion sensor. Macaques, a great Argus pheasant, and of course the male orangutan, who entered the trap just 15 minutes before their arrival.
Checking the camera trap was exciting, although it's not the animal that I wanted. Seeing a big male orangutan in this forest, it's pretty amazing.
But it's what the camera's remote sensor had captured early in the day that provides the biggest surprise.
Whoa, there's something there. It's clouded leopard.
Yeah. It's clouded leopard. Came from down the hill, not along the ridge.
Amazing.
Almost a whole body inside the trap.
It turned back and come out from the trap.
Yeah,
Wow.
turned back.
That's what I want. That's what I want to photograph.
Although the coveted shot once again evades Cede, he remains philosophical.
It's quite frustrating not to get the shot of a clouded leopard, but that's how it is. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
But he's not leaving this experience empty-handed. He's been afforded a privileged glimpse of the secret life of a majestic predator.
I'm impressed, and I think the camera trap is a good tool to set up and get a photograph of this elusive animal. As a wildlife photographer and conservationist, I'm happy to know that the clouded leopard is out there in the forest.
The incredible wildlife that thrives along this river has for centuries attracted traders from far and wide. Meaning Chinese river in the local language, the Kinabatangan was named for the Chinese merchants who would ply these waters in search of rare trade items. In order to satisfy the exotic tastes of China's emperors and wealthy mandarins, swift's nests, hornbill casks, and elephant ivory were for centuries plundered from these floodplains. Today, Saba's wildlife is protected by law, and these practices no longer exist, at least not legally. Unfortunately, fueled by a continued demand for exotic commodities, the lucrative black market trade has had a devastating impact on local wildlife populations in recent years. None have suffered more than the Sumatran rhinoceros. In 2008, due to the profound effects of habitat loss and illegal poaching, the local government estimated that there were around 50 specimens of the rhinoceros left in the wild. Only 5 years later, that figure had to be revised to as few as 10. By the beginning of 2015, the government was forced to concede that the Sumatran rhinoceros, which had lived in Sabah for 35 million years, was now locally extinct. And this disturbing trend continues. Other rare species are faced with similar fates. The future of one such secretive creature currently hangs in the balance. A creature both fearsome and gentle, as comfortable high in the trees as it is on the ground. This is the Bornean sun bear, the smallest member of the bear family. Its sharp claws make short work of fallen logs, rooting out termites which are then easy prey for the sun bear's extraordinarily long tongue. At 25 centimetres, it is one of the longest of all mammalian tongues. And that tongue is helpful for getting into beehives, even those 40 metres up in the canopy, which is why the sun bear is more commonly known as the honey bear. Its sharp claws are good for more than just foraging. Sun bears are exceptional climbers. So agile that they move from tree to tree more like apes. Although fond of water, sun bears are not recognised as strong swimmers, which is why the Kinabatangan often acts as a natural barrier, limiting the bear's home range. As land is developed along the river, this usually shy and retiring species is increasingly confronted by human beings. It's not an easy coexistence. and with it comes peril. Illegal poaching and loss of forest habitat have led to the Bornean sun bear being classed as vulnerable, and populations of this magnificent bear are declining rapidly in the wild. This is Dr. Siu Te Wong, known to the locals as the Bear Man. He prefers to simply be called Wong. In the battle to protect sun bears, Wong is warrior number one. A wildlife biologist and foremost authority on sun bears, Dr. Wong is the founder of the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Centre.
Under the big umbrella of conservations, I want to conserve sun bear through a holistic approach that incorporates improved animal welfare, education, research, and rehabilitation.
Wong and his team are dedicated to rescuing, healing, and then repatriating sun bears into the wild. And just like everywhere else, an average day begins with breakfast.
The center right now have 35 bears.
The bears is just waking up, and then they're waiting for their food. They're hungry, so we need to feed them well 4 times a day. Each day we need to feed the bears close to 150 kilos of all different kind of fruits and food.
Every sun bear at the centre has a story of rescue from traumatic circumstances.
This is Mary. I take care of Mary since day one, and then we developed a very strong trust. Mary was captured at a very young age. When Mary came to our center, I immediately noticed that something wrong with her because her face and her body does not match. She got a relatively mature-looking face, but with a very short body.
Mary's previous owner hadn't fed the baby bear any milk. Because of her malnourished youth, Mary will never be big enough to survive in the wild.
I do have a very special connection with Mary. All of the bears I take care of, I do not dare to touch them except Mary. I know that Mary won't harm me. Mary is just like my daughter. I mean, there's no difference. I have 2 daughters, and all of these are my daughters. I'm my daughter and son.
After breakfast, the bears are released into the centre's 42 square kilometres of protected rainforest, where they can spend the day foraging and climbing to their heart's content.
We are very lucky to have this piece of forested land as our forest enclosures with dense vegetations, with very tall trees. I think this place is very, very important because sun bears is a very rare and elusive animals that live in the deep jungle of Borneo. Without these facilities, people would not get the chance to see bears in the natural environment. The tourists are very important for us. We generate revenues from ticketing, so these visitors support our center. We are educating those visitors about sun bears, about the rainforest, about the importance of the bears.
Unfortunately, the bears in this enclosure can never go back to the wild. They're either too old, too traumatized, or too acclimatized to human contact. But with the right kind of care, newly rescued creatures like baby Carla have a great chance of being set free.
Carla is a 6-month-old female sun bear cub that we walk her every day in this forest environment so that she can pick up her instinct. It is very important to give the opportunity for the bear cubs to smell the forest, to look for potential natural food source, to climb the tree, so that they can get the connection between the natural environment, the forest, the natural food items, and all the exercise that they need to climb trees, make nests, and so on.
When Carla was rescued from the illegal pet trade, she weighed a mere 3 kilograms. But under the care of Reintroduction and Research Officer Lin May, Carla has filled out to a healthy 12.5 kilos.
So I'm surrogate mother. I will bring Carla to the forest. She will learn how to become a wild bear. Foraging the natural food is very important for the sun bear cub. So at first she learned the foraging earthworm, beetles, especially her favorite, termites. Walking bear cub is one of the wonderful jobs in the world.
As a solitary species, learning to be self-sufficient is fundamental for sun bears. While the carer bond is strong, for Carla to take the next step, she must be weaned away from her carer.
Oh, I think I'm not sad, I will be happy because she's moving the next step. Yeah, the next step.
Helping sun bears to take that next step is Wong's ultimate goal.
Sun bears is a forest-dependent species. They live in the forest. They cannot live in plantation, they cannot live in urban area. They have to live in the forest. So this is Pen B. Pen B right now have no access to the visitors. Visitors don't see the bears here, and the bears here don't see visitors.
Deliberately isolated from the rest of the centre, Pen B holds the bears that are closest to being released.
There are some criteria that we use for selecting bears to be released. First of all, they have to be able to forage in the wild. Second, they have to be able to climb the tree, build nests on top of tree. And the third skill that they have to have is to shy away from people. Those bears that do not fear people, these are not release candidates. So in general, these are still wild bears. So we have to be very, very careful with this bear, respect this bear. With their sharp claws and very strong teeth, they can do a lot of damages, including killing a people.
And there are other pressing reasons to minimize the bear's contact with humans.
Although it is illegal, the whole body have commercial value. Meat for food, claws, canine for items to be used in their traditional ceremonies. Gallbladder as traditional Asian medicines. Because of their cuteness, people keep bear cubs as pets. These bears right now are subjected to all the threats that a wild sun bear may face. That means that I cannot protect them, I cannot care for them anymore. So they are all on their own. So good luck is the only thing that I can say.
It's always a triumph when rehabilitated sun bears can be released. And these two young females have made the grade.
Both of them were brought up together. When they first come here, they were both cubs. We often see them inseparable. Yeah, if we release two female bears that would grow up together, they at least have a companionship. Yeah, if there's other bears come and bully them, they can defend for themselves. The feeling of releasing a bears is bittersweet. I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm also very sad. And happy that I managed to, give them a second chance to live in the wild where they are supposed to. This bear is like my baby. I raised them up, and right now I gotta say goodbye to them. It's kind of sad.
And for Papa Bear, as Wong is affectionately known to his staff, the bittersweet moment of setting his sun bears free is the real measure of his life's work.
I have been working on sun bear and studying sun bear for so long. I feel like I have the responsibility to help them as much as possible. Turning a blind eye is not an option for me because I know the issue. I have to work on them.
While the threats to wild sun bears remain serious, the work of dedicated conservationists like Wong is bringing new hope for the survival of these beautiful creatures and of their remaining forest habitat. Navigating their way through the meanders of the floodplains, Cede and Rizal continue their voyage. The warm glow of the late afternoon sun finds Cede and Rizal gliding silently through calm waters, always on the lookout for hard-to-get shots and never shy of taking the path less travelled. The surrounding hills conceal wonders and mysteries rarely witnessed by human eyes.
We left the Kinabatangan to this small side tributary. As I know, this is one of the hot spots for wildlife. It's great for photography because the trees are a lot shorter and there's good visibility, there's good distance to shoot the animals, and the variety from birds, mammals, reptiles, it's just abundant.
The small boat feels like part of the environment, gliding along quietly without disturbing the wildlife. The oriental darter suns itself confidently. Darters don't have waterproof wings, so they need to dry off before they can dive and fish again. It's a feast for the camera, but Cede's instincts tell him if he wants bigger game, he has to get out of the boat.
This tributary is great for wildlife, but somehow I have to go in the forest on land and follow animals like orangutans, gibbons, and hornbills to get some good shot.
Dusk heralds an awe-inspiring natural event, but to reach it, Cede and Rizal must race the setting of the sun. Of course, for a wildlife photographer on the Kinabatangan, there's always a welcome distraction.
There's a red-leaf monkey up there, one of those endemics of Borneo. Usually they're very shy, very elusive.
Much like a cow, red-leaf monkeys have chambered stomachs to break down their fibrous diet of leaves and seeds. These charismatic primates avoid the sweet fruits abundant on the Kinabatangan floodplains because the sugars they contain disrupt the delicate balance of their complex digestive system. Cede's goal is at the summit of these hills, and daylight is slipping away. Still, he manages to find time for one of the great apes, the orangutan.
It's a hard climb, but it's well worth it because there's a family of orangutans up there. And it's great to see a mother and baby feeding on a fig. And it looks like they are bonding now, and they're traveling together. And it's a fascinating feeling to see a wild one.
It has been quite a successful afternoon, and as evening draws closer, Cede wants to keep moving.
What I would really like to see is somewhere up there in the mountains.
In these remote mountains, sunset brings a fantastic natural phenomenon few eyes have the privilege to witness. Cede and Rizal have to hurry to set up in time to catch it. And they're not the only ones who are waiting. As sunset approaches, the sky fills with raptors. Peregrine falcons, Brahminy eagles and Wallace hawk eagles all here for the same reason as Cede. Every evening, reliable as clockwork, 2 million wrinkly bats exit this cave in search of their evening meal. A swarm like this can devour several tons of insects in a single night. As soon as the bats clear the ridge, the raptors swoop to the hunt, and a breathtaking aerial battle commences.
It's amazing when these bats are coming out from the chamber. It's like a drive-through for Wallace's hawk eagle and bat hawk. It happens so quick that you can't even see what's happening in front of your eyes.
It's an awesome display of speed and agility. The raptors attack the bat swarm, exiting with prey in their deadly talons. Even for a photographer as experienced as Cede, getting a clean shot is no easy feat.
Bat hawk just zap in and there he goes. He's gone. You know, it's a split-second thing. Seeing things happening like this, bats being preyed by raptors, not many events like this happen and not many events being seen by people. So I'm very fortunate to be here.
When photographing a remote wilderness that few human eyes have seen, one good shot is all Cede needs. Far below the aerial display, these caverns support a thriving complexity of life, in no small part due to the presence of these bat colonies. bats play a pivotal role in the maintenance of healthy ecosystems. Here, in the lowland rainforests surrounding the Kinabatangan, some species pollinate flowers and disperse seeds, while others keep insect populations in check. Within the cave system itself, bat colonies help to support a flourishing underworld. Packed with essential nutrients, their guano sustains a healthy population of microbes and invertebrates as it builds up on the cave floor. Carpeting the detritus left by the colony, these cockroaches in turn provide sustenance for other creatures. Creatures like the venomous scutiera, who specializes in hunting other invertebrates. Existing in the dark confines of these caves, scutiera use their well-developed eyesight and sensory antenna to locate their prey. While in this ecosystem they support life, as they travel farther afield, bats have the potential to be the bringers of death. In the forested area surrounding these caves, a team of research scientists is in the midst of a global effort to understand the ecology of disease. It is part of a project named PREDICT. The study has revealed that 60% of the emerging infectious diseases that affect humans originate in wildlife.
Virus macam Ebola, SARS, H1N1, so mereka terkandung mungkin dalam badan haiwan beribu-ribu tahun.
Disease, as it turns out, is largely an environmental issue.
Tapi disebabkan oleh aktiviti manusia dan membuka semakin besar hutan. Virus itu disebar kepada manusia.
Malaysia recently experienced the dramatic consequences of rapid development.
Sebelum ni katakan kita ada satu outbreak semasa tahun 1998, itu panggil Nipah virus outbreak. Mula-mula itu berlaku, so semua orang tidak tahu tentang virus itu dan ia menyebabkan ramai orang, lebih 100 orang pekebun peladang babi maut.
With a high mortality rate, the virus was transmitted to the human population through domesticated pigs that had been infected through feedstock contaminated by bat urine. To combat its deadly spread, the Malaysian government ordered the slaughter of over 1 million pigs. Although costly, there were valuable lessons to be learned from the outbreak.
Apa yang PREDICT cuba untuk membuat di Malaysia, createkan satu dalam English early warning system.
Assisted by the Wildlife Rescue Unit, the team sets up a series of mist nets to capture live bat specimens.
Kita ambil sampel daripada hidupan liar dan kita kena pasti apa virus itu sebelum itu outbreak berlaku.
Working with wildlife in the field can be precarious at the best of times, but when handling animals that are known to carry life-threatening pathogens, extra precaution is necessary. Bats have notoriously poor eyesight. They rely on echolocation to navigate the night skies. These mist nets are designed to be undetectable to the bat's nocturnal senses. It's not long before the first samples are snared. The team members must handle them very carefully. A single bite from an infected bat could prove fatal. The captured bats are placed in cotton sacks to minimize any distress. The team will transport the specimens they have collected to a nearby temporary field lab, where they will begin their research. gathering blood, saliva and other samples from high-risk wildlife species to collate a library of pathogens, so that if one does infect humans, it can be more quickly identified.
Kita sudah mengambil sampel lebih daripada 11,000 sampel daripada Sabah. Kita sudah dapat mencari 49 virus yang baru tidak pernah diketahui di mana-mana di Sabah.
In addition to cataloguing these new viruses, EcoHealth Alliance is studying ways of managing forests, wildlife and livestock to prevent diseases from escaping from the forest and becoming the next global pandemic.
Memerlukan semakin banyak tempat tinggal, tempat tanaman untuk menyalakan hidup kita. Dan semakin suntuk habitat yang dimiliki oleh binatang atau haiwan liar. Terpaksa berpindah kepada mereka yang boleh mencari makanan, iaitu yang berdekatan dengan manusia.
Through their early warning system, Predict hopes to prevent a local problem from becoming a global one. While the international scientific community strives to unravel the mysteries of life on this wild frontier, for the Orang Sungai, these challenges are part and parcel of everyday life. As Cede and Rizal rejoin the main river, the sights, sounds and smells become increasingly familiar.
Hai, apa kabar? Nak? Apa?
This part of the river holds special significance for Cede, but for Rizal, it is simply home.
Jom, 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 jom. Ui, pandai. Ini. Pandai kau belah kena. Nah, aku beri. Okey, baiklah.
The village of Sukhao, meaning tall tree in the local dialect, is a river community living on the edge of civilization. It is here that Rizal has spent his entire life.
Satu lagi.
Tapi saya membesar di sini, di Sukhao. Dan sebelum saya berkahwin, saya juga ikut dengan bapak saya merambat, memukat, memancing. Bila ada pelancongan, saya lebih kepada pelancongan.
While for many years fishing and tourism helped to sustain Rizal's young family, the cost of living is rising rapidly, forcing Rizal to move with the times.
Memandangkan kami punya pendapatan belum mencukupi, saya sudah mula petik getah, tanam pokok getah.
The people of the river are fierce custodians of their natural world, so nothing could better illustrate the opposing tensions of modern life than Rizal's decision. It's not one that he took lightly.
Saya akan tanam getah ini di sini. Nah, ini kawasan ini kami buka untuk penanaman pokok getah.
Untuk membuat ladang getah, yang getah ini semua dibukakan oleh kerajaan Sabah. Tanam di sini khas untuk keluarga yang menampung penggunaan keseharian.
To enable smallholders such as Rizal to generate economic activities in the area, the local government offers financial assistance and land grants. Reserving the right to reclaim any plot left undeveloped, the government actively promotes progress in the region, with the result that an estimated 1/3 of all land cleared in Borneo is cleared by small landholders and local villagers. To make the most of this opportunity afforded to him, Rizal has elected to develop a rubber plantation on his land.
Sebagai peminat alam sekitar, susah nggak mau tebang itu pokok?
Memang saya lebih kepada pelancongan juga. Rasa sedih itu ada, tapi tiada jalan. Habis ini untuk kami punya generasi juga yang akan datang macam cucu kami.
But Rizal has also considered the future of his beloved rainforest surroundings.
Berapa luas kamu punya kebun?
Totally ini kebun dalam 75 ekar. Tapi kawasan kami menyeluruh 150 ekar.
Yang hutan itu?
Seperti hutan yang di belakang ini kita nampakkan. Hutan ini kami biarkan memberi laluan kepada hewan-hewan seperti gajah, ya kadang-kadang orangutan, dan juga riparian reserve kami ada biar di sini dalam 30 meter daripada tebing sungai.
Jadi yang binatang ini ada tempat laluan dia?
Ya, itulah.
Jadi bukan dia tertumpu di kawasan kebun kamu itu. Jadi dia masih boleh lalu kiri kanan.
While he understands his old friends need to provide for his family, Cede is also concerned about the bigger picture.
It is concerning to me when there are many developments like this. I guess any breadwinner, you gotta look at how you're gonna sustain your family. But frankly speaking, I am really sad because this is the only space we have for our animals. This is the only space we have for a clean source of water. This small space where the river people lives is almost endangered. It is quite an emotional place for many people and for me. I'm really part and parcel of the Kinabatangan system, and watching this is very sad, very, very sad.
As the modern world closes in on this ancient river system, the future of Sabah's gift to the earth remains unclear. It is a rapidly changing world in which Rizal must shape his own destiny. As husband and provider, as custodian of his children's future, and as a proud member of the Orang Sungai. The challenges of life on this wild river system can seem overwhelming. But in the next episode, we explore how the ingenuity of man is managing to balance the economic and ecological scales along the Kinabatangan. As we journey eastwards with Cede and Rizal along waterways ruled by ancient predators, through the otherworldly Sagama wetlands, before reaching journey's end, the vibrant Sulu Sea.